What's up, guys? Ah, we're getting the nose cam again, which kind of sucks because I had this video about almost all the way done, at least so I thought, but it cut out because my phone ran out of memory. So, anyway, another way too early 2014 power rankings. I posted some of the dynasty rankings that Yahoo had. Now, a little disclaimer about this ahead of time. There's very few leagues out there that are exactly like ours, or even close to like ours, where we sign guys for contracts. So, I mean, this isn't a redraft league. It's not a perfect dynasty league according to these rankings because most dynasties you get to keep the guy forever, and we sign contracts. So ours is actually a blend between the two concepts. So the rankings that I used, all the dynasty rankings, I mean, they're not perfect for how our league actually runs because a lot of the times you won't be able to reap the benefits of a guy that turns into a stud later on because he's not on your team anymore. So, anyway, using the new rankings, using the same old system that I've used, studs are 10 points, solid starters 6, right, other starters 3, and solid bench guys 1 point. Decided to do all the rankings again because I'm bored, because I don't ever work, which is why I'm antsy on fixing everything that's wrong with the league. So, but I digress from that. All right, actually tied for 11th, we have two guys, Mike Samuels and Derek Laham. Laham? I don't even know what it is. I don't think there's a T in there. Derek L. A little bit different situation right now because Derek has two studs in Aaron Rodgers and Adrian Peterson, and Mike Samuels has quite a bit of cap room. So Mike Samuels has actually the second most cap room. So his team's going to look a lot different come week one than what it currently looks like, where there's a few guys in the league that don't have a ton of cap room, namely Derek L, Roger, Derek N, and Jason. All those guys less than $50 in cap room. So, I mean, they'll be lucky to get a couple starters out of that, let alone any studs. But both of those guys have 29 points according to my system. Number 10 is Roger, the new guy. Strong baddie cheats with 42 points. No real studs, which is kind of surprising because he has Breeze on his team. But again, these rankings, they project future success, not just this year. I think Breeze is fantastic this year. But he's getting a little bit up there in age. That some of the younger guys were considered studs, according to Yahoo. Ninth best team currently comprised, 10th most cap room. Again, only $42. So unless he's able to make a drop or some trades to open up cap room, he's basically stuck with the team that he has. Number 9, Derek Mostrom with 53 points. A little bit of cap room. He's got 145. He's tied with Roger with ninth overall best currently comprised team. So he does have some holes to fill on his team. He has one stud, Vernon Davis. I tried getting Vernon from him. Was not able to finalize the deal, and that's how I ended up with Witten. Number 8, Derek Nuberta. Sixth best team currently comprised, but does not have a lot of cap room. Again, not going to be able to add a whole lot to his team. He does have 3 studs. Julio, Matthew Stafford, and some guy named Percy Harvin or something like that. Do you know who that is, Derek? Yahoo loves Julio and Percy, especially going forward over the next few years. He does have both those guys locked up to at least a couple years. And then Stafford. They added Golden Tate today. I think Stafford's going to continue to be fantastic. I don't think that's a hideous contract that he has him for. 56 points for Nuberta, and not a whole lot of cap room. Tied for number 6. First we have Jared with 60 points. His 2 studs, Torrey Smith and Kendall Wright. Yahoo loves Kendall Wright, and it's not just Yahoo. I've seen Kendall Wright's name up near the top of a lot of different lists, which makes me happy because I have him in the other league. A couple good, solid young wide receivers on Jared's team. A little bit of cap room. Basically, we're looking at the following studs that are available: LaShawn, Kelvin, AJ, Brandon Marshall, and Jimmy Graham. With the exception of possibly Jimmy Graham, if you don't have $100, you ain't getting one of those guys. So I could see Jared landing one of those guys. I could see LaShawn on his team. As much as I want him on my team and as much as I need running back help, Jared really needs running back help. That's my first prediction of the video, that LaShawn ends up on Jared's team for $110 or so. Yeah, 8th best team, currently comprised fifth most cap room. The other team tied for number 6 is Andy. He's got 2 studs, both of those guys that not have what are now illegal contracts in Randall Cobb and Doug Martin. Laura, Derek, you asked me why I did that trade. I do regret that trade, giving up Randall Cobb and that fantastic contract. Not exactly sure what I was thinking there. I mean, I'll be fine for this year. It's really going to start hurting me in 2015. Durs has the 7th best team, currently comprised the 6th most cap room. He's at 106. Don't know if that's going to be enough to get any of those studs. Maybe Marshall. Trying to think of what his wide receivers look like offhand. Andy and Jared tied for number 6. Number 5. Oh, and not surprisingly, 5 of the top 6 teams are 5 of the teams that made the playoffs last year, and then the other one was the one that got royally screwed by the schedule. The team that made the playoffs that is not in the top 6 was the one that got hugely benefited by the schedule, that being the quitter, Dustin Mostrom. 5, Jason was 63 points. 5th best team, currently comprised only $41 in cap room. So he's looking at basically what his team is going to be. The 2 studs that he has is Marshawn Lynch and Dennis Pitta. Yahoo does not, to this point, has not released their dynasty rankings for tight ends. I can't imagine that Pitta is going to be that high on it. But the list that I did use, Pitta is considered a stud. So there you go, Jay. Number 4, my division mate. The top 4 guys are all in 2 divisions. So 2 of these guys will not win their division, between Doug, Scott, myself, and Mostrom. So Doug, number 4, with 74 points, 5 studs for Doug. There's a lot of studs in my division. Alfred Morris, Rob Gronkowski, Eddie Lacy, Michael Crabtree, and Alshon Jeffrey. So Mike has the 4th best team currently constructed, the 8th most cap room, $89. He needs a quarterback, so I see RG3. That's my second prediction. RG3 lands on Doug's team. I don't think he wants to roll the dice with Andy Dalton. And because he doesn't need running back help. For wide receivers that are available, maybe he ends up with a Reuben Randall, a Marvin Jones. I don't know. And now we're getting to the 3 teams that I think just are a step ahead of the rest of the league this year and going forward. Number 3, we have Scott with 90 points. 3rd best team currently constructed, 7th most cap room. He also has 5 studs: Jamal Charles, Demaryius Thomas, Cam Newton, Giovanni Bernard, and Antonio Brown. With the exception of Charles and Thomas, kind of really good contracts on the rest of them. Sells $103 in cap room. Again, that might be enough to get him Jimmy Graham back, especially because the other guys with a lot of cap room either have many other holes to fill or are pretty set at tight end. So, Scott coming in at number 3. Number 2 is Mike, not me. So Mike, 105 points, 4 studs: Le'Veon Bell, Michael Floyd. We'll get to that. I don't know. Julius Thomas and Keenan Allen. Again, Floyd, Thomas, and Allen are all on the last year of their contract, so by the time that their dynasty impact comes into play, they are not going to be on Mike's team anymore. So a little bit of fool's gold here. Mike does have a very solid roster, even besides this, so I will not shed a tear for him or anything. He also was able to work his way up to $150 in cap room. So He'll add another stud on there. He'll add either Kelvin or AJ or Marshall, maybe, being a Bears homer that he is. So he'll add another stud on there. 105 points. Mike, number 2. And finally, number 1, the guy that would have won if he only listened to his frickin' wife and played Ray Rice, but I'm not bitter at all. Myself, Eric. I love my team going forward. I have 6 studs more than any other team. Now, again, a couple of these studs, their studliness, their dynasty impact is years away. But I have these guys signed to long term. So Dez Bryant, Josh Gordon, Jason Witten, Cordarrelle Patterson, Andrew Luck, and DeMarco Murray. Other than Witten, I have all of these guys, I believe, signed to at least 3 years. Let's see here. Yeah, DeMarco only 2 more years. That's a likely franchise guy, though. Or Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, Deshaun's not even on this list. So, 6 studs. The best team currently comprised, and I have the most cap room. I like my team this year. I like it a lot. I joked that I wouldn't mind adding both Kelvin and AJ to my team as well, which would give me Kelvin, AJ, Dez, Josh Gordon, Deshaun Jackson, Cordarrelle Patterson, who else? Justin Blackmon, Kenbrell Tompkins. So that's probably putting too many of my eggs in one basket. I'll probably get either Kelvin or AJ. Maybe a Jimmy Graham. I could really use a running back though, because that whole Decker for Andre Brown not looking that good right now either. So 2 of my trades I kind of regret. I just like making trades, but I still like my team going forward. In terms of the overall divisions, Jason, Mike Samuels, and Derek Mostrom have the weakest division. As a group of 3, they have 145 points, so that could be an easy division to have. The other pretty weak division is the Andy, Derek, L. Jared division with only 149 points. And then there's a huge jump up to the other 2 divisions. So my division has 233 points between myself, Roger, and Doug. And then the Mostrom, Scott, Derek Newberta with 251 total points. It's likely that the wild cards are going to come out of my division and Mike and Scott's division. Just early predictions. Those are the power rankings. Tied for 11th, Derek, L, and Mike. 10th, Roger. 9th, Derek. Mostrom. 8th, Derek Newberta. Tied for 6th, Andy and Jared. Jason 5th. Doug's 4th. Scott 3rd. Mike 2nd. And yours truly, the Vinegar Strokes 1st. Peace.